This is a clouds weather alert.
Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here in the Weather Center with a new tornado warning now for that same storm we've been watching. This is for parts of Brooks County. They're just into South Georgia until 7:30. You see that red box there? This is the broad perspective. It's the only storm we're tracking right now that's severe and slash potentially tornadic here. So let's go ahead and zoom in to this area right now. You can see we have some rotation as we go under the hood with our storm relative velocity. It's a pretty rural area here, south of the community of Baden and north of the community of Lovett here. But we do have some weak rotation here, enough for a tornado warning to be issued, and it was even showing up maybe a little bit better from the Tallahassee radar here a moment ago as well. I know we're looking at the different distances here, trying to give you guys the best look at things, and I'm going to go ahead and switch over to that perspective here right about now, and you can kind of see what we're talking about here. There's a lot of lightning with this. Nonetheless, if you're in parts of Brooks County here, you take your tornado precautions from about Quitman to the south here. In Brooks County, we have a potential tornado now developing once again with this same storm that we've been tracking. This is that area right in there. I know the lightning is so frequent, it almost makes it hard to see here exactly where that circulation is, but it actually is still there. As you can see with that latest scan, let's check to see if it's on the ground here yet, and it doesn't look like it, but gotta be in shelter here in parts of Brooks County right now, the south of Quitman. You need to get in that interior room away from windows right about now here. Again, we have a possible tornado in this area as they're continuing to warn it now, saying it's near Quitman, but really a little bit to the south probably with this. But if this were to hold together, it'd be in Lowndes County here in about 15 minutes or so. It'll be in southwestern Lowndes County, so a new tornado warning may be required for parts of Lowndes County here over the next little bit if this circulation does hold together. But this is just there out of the Florida Big Bend and into South Georgia by just a few miles. A tornado warning now for parts of this area, for parts of Brooks County here. For parts of Brooks County, let me give you guys a map for perspective so you guys know where this is as we continue to watch the situation very carefully. I know I'm switching to our maps here, so you might saw me light up just a little bit there in terms of some of our lighting. But again, there's your tornado precautions. Seek shelter into that sturdy building away from windows right about now in that area. And then we're going to go ahead now and switch on over to the graphics here full. You'll be able to see what we're talking about here. So we have a tornado warning right now. So for perspective here, right about there above my hand is Brooks County, and then as we look off toward the east, you may be watching from Bradford County. Still a while before the threat comes into play toward north central Florida. We cover 62 counties though, so that's why we're on the air. That's why we've been on all day, pretty much today, this afternoon, and yesterday during the afternoon and early evening as well for these threats here for parts of our coverage area. Again, I just give you guys perspective where this is. If this were to hold together here, you see again Brooks County above my hand. Moving in toward Lowndes County here ultimately. Gotta watch the progress of this storm. There is still a tornado watch in place, so I gotta continue to track things here as they do evolve. So again, we have a tornado warning now in play till 7:30. There's your circulation right here near Willer Road, getting here near Stanley Road right now. Again, we gotta watch. This is a very rural area. That's why we didn't jump back on. We did post the information though when they see a new thunderstorm warning when we started seeing some re-strengthening here. But it's a very rural area overall, but with a tornado warning, that means an imminent threat potentially to life and property here in some tornadic cases. So that's why we have to jump on the air. Not necessarily seeing that here for the most part, but if it obviously touches down and that becomes the case, and that's why you have to be in that tornado safe area. So again, haven't had any evidence of it being on the ground here, but you just can't take any chances in the situation here around Baden in Brooks County, Georgia. You need to go ahead and get inside, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible here in this area. Again, we have the potential tornado here south of Quitman. I'll go back on over now to our radar scope technology. You can see where we're tracking this. So there's Quitman, and then the circulation, the center of it is about 6 miles to the south there of the downtown Quitman area. So again, gonna have to watch this here because you can kind of see the path of this. If we're just going to take it from the path that's showing here from the actual circulation, it would be crossing 75 here eventually. So we'll have to watch. We'll have to see if it re-strengthens even further or if it weakens on down some. So again, a tornado warning now 4 parts of this area, 4 parts of Brooks County. Checking for any debris. We're not seeing it at the present time, but can't take any chances. I know I'm going between some different radar modes here, trying to give you guys an idea of how things look here with different viewpoints. So again, we have our TVS signature right now, tornado vortex signature on this storm right now. Yes, this thunderstorm warning there in play that we've had, but again, we have a TVS signature here, a potential tornado in Brooks County, Georgia. That means you need to get as many walls between you and the outside here as possible. Again, we have a tornado warning here in play, so go ahead, get inside, get away from windows here right now in Brooks County. There's your hook right here. I'll point it out to you guys. You see this hook right in there. That's where we have this business. That's where this storm could be the strongest at. So again, inside, away from windows, putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible here in South Georgia. It's been a busy day. It continues to be a busy day. Maybe seeing some inflow on the far southern notch of this, but that's what is showing up in correlation coefficient here. This is not debris. This right here is not debris. This is just inflow here, folks. But we're going to continue to watch this, continue to track it here. We got a severe thunderstorm warning on it after it had went without a warning for just a little bit because it had weakened on down here. But it had strengthened enough for a severe thunderstorm and then ultimately a tornado warning. We started getting this spin there just enough according to the Weather Service in their eyes based on the radar technology. You can still see it's holding together to an extent here as we get near Union Church Road there in southern Brooks County. This is in South Georgia here. I know things have been pretty quiet towards some other areas, but we're going to continue to watch the situation. It has not been quiet toward the Tallahassee market, toward the Albany market, but I'm talking about toward the Jacksonville market. Had a few warnings earlier today, a few warnings yesterday, but been pretty quiet overall. But they're telling us here in the chat that the tornado warning storm in southern Brooks is maintaining the status quo right now. That we consider a tornado warning about 5 minutes per round. If it holds together, the strength is sufficient, but the rotation is a little broad in nature. So it's one of those situations here, right on the edge of whether they want to continue this with a new warning downstream or not. But if that warning were to be issued here, it would be towards 75. Let me go ahead and give you guys an idea, just in case they issue it. Right now, again, it's status quo. Probably sounds like about 50-50 whether they extend this right now. We'll continue to watch. So I'm going to go to the Moody radar here on the other viewpoint. Actually, it looks a little bit more impressive there right now. So you can see the colors are not necessarily gate to gate, but you'll see as it loops around here, kind of the progress of this here over the last little bit. Again, a tornado warning just over the state line into Georgia now, here in the Tallahassee market area per se, as we're looking toward parts of Brooks County. Again, you can kind of see how it comes into view. You see the twisting of the winds here, and you see the brighter colors, maybe not quite as close together in that last scan though, but you have that lightning around. That's always problematic, obviously, and I just got to remember when thunder roars go indoors, but obviously in a tornado situation, you need to be taking your tornado precautions, interior room, and away from windows. So let's try to draw this out. This might be just kind of a rough estimate. I may not go quite this big with it, but if they were to go as big as they could with it here, then this could be, I'm just going to draw kind of down their lines. Obviously, it'd probably go in the middle of this some, but we'll just kind of draw down their lines a little bit here with how the threat could be over the next little bit. This is obviously a little bit big, but we'll kind of hook these lines together now here as we get to the edge of the screen or go off the screen with what you guys are seeing. So again, there's a look at where the threat could be over the next little bit. Somewhere probably closer here toward this area, though, is where we'd have to watch. It's kind of like a cone of concern, I guess you could call it here, when we track tropical systems. But again, you can see here we have the greens here. This means the wind that's going toward the radar there at the Moody Air Force Base. The radar is up here. If you guys can't see it, it's right in here. You can kind of see my mouse here. It's true at the top. It's just above that little area I drew on. But then you have the winds going away from the Doppler radar here. So again, just going to continue to watch the situation here. They're not right together, but we have to watch here to see if they tighten on up. So again, we have your tornado warning right now. I'm going to go ahead and come back here as we continue to track the situation, a possible tornado. And that definitely looks a little healthier now. So if that holds together, and somebody's saying maybe let's see if there's any debris. It's closer than it's been. Let's see. That may just be inflow still, but it's closer than it's been. That's 7:13, 8 seconds there. 7:13, 9 seconds. Yeah. It could be something. I would say it's in flow right now, but up till I see in the chat, I would still think that's probably in flow, but we'll continue to monitor it obviously here in this situation. We'll continue to monitor it. That looks more like inflow as we look at our ZDR upscale growth product, but we'll continue to watch it. That has a well-defined hook, and I feel like the chances have gone up a little bit for that tornado warning to be extended into Lowndes, unfortunately, here in this situation based on what we're seeing with that structure being well-defined and with the reds and greens, but it's kind of a situation where we're right on the edge, so you never know, but I feel like we're getting a little bit closer to maybe an extension there than not. Tallahassee's radar is really, really showing it. Wow. Let's see the distance on that. I'm going to check the distance here. That's about 4,000 feet. This right here is about 2,000 feet. So this is the better radar to use, but that's not up that high, and that's a really tight circulation. This just tells you and goes to show you that different radars do different things here in this situation. They're saying no debris drop right now. No CC drop, which is good, but we're going to continue to watch here toward parts of this area. Again, you see this is really tight off the Tallahassee radar. You see 45 mile an hour, maybe even a little higher pixel in there, but let's just go with 54 or 45 against 50. That could be winds close to 100 miles an hour if they were to tighten up here at the surface, folks. So this is a little more serious now with both radars still in a little bit tighter circulation. Looking at correlation coefficient on Tallahassee, it's not necessarily discernible. I would lean against it being down, but it's not out of the question. Could be something even further off here toward the west, trying to get an idea of where we could have that spin. Not really matching up right now, which is good, but if we see that debris, of course, that would be a bad sign. That would mean the tornado's already down, as we just got a new tornado warning for Lowndes County now. So a new tornado warning for Lowndes at 7:15. It's a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado 7 miles southeast equipment moving east at 20 miles an hour. So let me go ahead and come back on camera here and give this to you guys. Give this perspective to you guys here. That's really tight off the Moody now. Wow. On this perspective here as well, I mean, we may have a tornado that's imminent here as we get from parts of Brooks into Lowndes, and that's why the new tornado warning was issued. That's about the tightest circulation I've seen off of these radars down here, definitely down here today, and that might be something. Let's see. That might be something here, folks. That might actually be a debris drop now. That might actually be a tornado on the ground. That looked a little more ominous on that latest scan. I think we may have a tornado down here. So let's be ready for them to call this a confirmed tornado. Let's check here again. I mean, what we're seeing here, this is right near Madison Highway. We have a tornado likely down now based on my analysis. County Road 80 here over the next couple minutes. If you're around County Road 80 here in parts of Brooks County, a tornado may be headed toward you there in southern Brooks County, and then this tornado is headed toward Lowndes County, where we have areas here in Lowndes County. Let's see who's in and out of this box. Clyattville, Dasher, Lake Park here. You're under it. Parts of Valdosta, I guess you could say, is under this here. Maybe just on the edge, Valdosta Regional Airport. But latest scan now confirming a tornado. We got a tornado on the ground for sure now. Tornado on the ground. This is a tornado with winds of about 100 miles an hour or so on the ground here right now in Brooks County. This is State Road 33, folks. Take shelter now. This is a radar-confirmed tornado. We don't see this all that often here further to the south. We've seen that. We saw it up toward Cordell earlier, but right now we have a confirmed tornado. Brooks County, CC drop. This is correlating there well. North there, it looks like they're saying the community of Macon there, if that's how you pronounce that. It's according to a meteorologist telling us that as well. They have some different mapping sometimes. It's a national network. So they have sometimes different mapping. They'll show some different cities in there as well. But just to kind of give you guys perspective on that. But again, this is a confirmed tornado, folks. A confirmed tornado on the ground. This has been confirmed by the Doppler technology now. We have different hydrometeors being detected. This is moving in toward parts of Lowndes County. A confirmed tornado now doing damage here in Brooks and moving into Lowndes County. And that's why the tornado warning extended over there now till 7:45. Again, you need to be in your tornado safe spot here. Let me go ahead and remind you guys where that is. If you're just kind of tuning in, tuning out with us today, We have a tornado on the ground. You need to seek shelter inside that sturdy building. Get as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you even put a bicycle helmet on it, that's even looking worse now as they just upped that polygon on here. From tornado 8 miles southeast of Quitman, moving east to 25 miles an hour. So this is a radar confirmed tornado, my friends. You need to take this seriously. Checking some information behind the scenes here. Just want to check some of our sources. Again, this is a radar confirmed tornado here in Brooks County, confirmed by the Doppler radar. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch right now. All the different platforms to keep you, your friends, and your family safe. You can go to the Cloud Weather home page even for all the different links, as this is even getting a little bit worse here. County Road 80. This is a tornado in progress here around County Road 80 in South Georgia. Again, get as many walls between you and the outside as possible. This is a tornado that is on the ground here, folks. It's lofty and debris. This is something that's come out here in the last 10 years or so with correlation coefficients, so we can see the different hydrometeors, and when they're co-located with the wind signature, that means we have a tornado that is down and doing damage, and that's exactly the case right now. They upped the Lowndes polygon too because it's moving in that, but for perspective here, if you're wondering where we're at, we're in Brooks County moving into Lowndes County. Again, we have a tornado that is down here, folks. And that's where it is right now here. It just crossed over. It's still down on the ground. Crossed State Road 33. Just crossing Dewey Road here. It's going to be moving closer toward Roland Road in Lowndes County over the next few minutes. Again, this is a confirmed tornado. A tornado that is down here, folks. The current velocity image is a little weaker, so that's good. Maybe it won't be down for much longer, but we have winds here that are still showing in that 80-mile-an-hour range. A little bit tighter a frame ago, so hopefully this will turn into a situation where it's just remnant debris and then it fades away. But we're talking about gate to gate. It was even a little bit tighter a moment ago. But this is a confirmed tornado doing damage here, no doubt, in Brooks County right now. Again, you can see where it's gone over. Trying to look at the topography a little bit here. It looks like mainly rural areas, but it went over a road, so that's always a concern. A bigger highway here that takes us into Florida with State Route 333, Madison Highway there, per se. That's looking like where we're at with this right now. Just kind of trying to get you guys the very latest information. Or say Highway 53, let me just clarify that. Looking at some of our different numbers here. A little bit hard to see sometimes, so I want to make sure I clarify those numbers that we're talking about. That's what toward Florida there, but this is in Georgia on crossing the Madison Highway area, so still visible. Latest radar scan crossing from southeastern Brooks into southwestern Lowndes. I know sometimes around sunset things can kind of ramp up like this, and the storm seems to have got a second wind to it, unfortunately. As you can see here, there's your correlation coefficient. That's the tornado right there, folks. That is the tornado right here. Excuse me, loft into debris, and that tornado is moving on off here toward the east here, maybe a little north, 20 miles an hour or so. So you got to be in shelter. We have a confirmed tornado down. Again, make sure you're taking your precautions. Moving between 20 and 25 miles an hour right now. This is a pretty rural area, thankfully, but there's still people that have interest down here, obviously. And we still need them in shelter. A confirmed tornado here. Moving into Lowndes County in South Georgia, moving south of Valdosta. Eventually, it could be close to, if not crossing 75. Hopefully by then, it'll have wound itself down some. But right now, we have a tornado warning in play. Let's switch back over. Don't want to confuse everybody with that view, but you have the hook echo here, the well-defined hook echo. That's what you don't like to see here, folks, and that's what we've seen here in towards southern Georgia right now. Again, a confirmed tornado on the ground. Again, you need to be in an interior room away from windows. Tornado here moving northeast or east-northeast, I guess you could call it. Again, 20 to 25 miles an hour. Eventually be near State Route 401. That takes you between Valdosta and Clayettville. But right now, we're just tracking it, entering in on the county line there between Brooks and Lowndes counties. So, again, we have a confirmed tornado doing damage. Let's get back on over to the Tallahassee view. See the debris signature from that. I suspect there is one over there as well. We've been more in the Moody, but let's go ahead and go to that radar now. Again, a confirmed tornado here in this area. You can kind of see that. Let me make sure it's still located here as well. Just to think it's that, yeah, that actually looks pretty impressive right here. I mean, neither height is all that high up, meaning we're able to get a good visual on this. So a tornado down, doing damage here in this area. No, and it's a little higher up, and we're not seeing the debris as bad, so that would indicate maybe not an extremely strong tornado, but still, it's a tornado nonetheless, with the winds maybe in that 100-mile-an-hour range, and that can be a problem here in South Georgia. So a busy period, a multi-day event continues with a tornado on the ground here in South Georgia. Going to go over to the Moody radar because that's going to be closer. We'll be able to see some of this. It looks like it's not as well defined now, which is obviously a good sign. But let's go ahead and loop this around. You'll be able to see the debris coming into view here over the last several minutes. Once it loads around here, you'll be able to kind of see what we're talking about. So just pay attention here with me. You can kind of see it'll just kind of drop out on us here. So right in there, that's where it is. It's starting to fade away a little bit now. That might mean the tornado is no longer down, or it's weakening some, but maybe no longer down. You can kind of watch it here with me. It starts to come up right in there, not that area, but this area right there. Let's watch it as it goes into motion. You can see how it pops out at us, and now as it crosses the county line, we're seeing some weakening. That's the scan from 721, and then you see it fading off a little bit in the more recent scan there. So we have to watch it. A brief touchdown of a tornado seems to have occurred here in South Georgia. It's still apparent in Lowndes County, but it's not as well defined, meaning it may not still be down, but we don't know one way or another for sure at this point. You still got to call it a confirmed tornado for now. So again, there's your viewpoint here as an update. You see, this is where we're at. The area to the east is the inflow in it, I believe. I'll double check on our view. Yeah, this right here. So this is the inflow, but then our tornado further on off here. Our tornado further on off as we continue to watch. This is interesting. So spotters now reporting they're actually seeing the tornado, and they might be, because I mean, that's not going to be rain wrapped on a certain part of this part of it. It depends on where you're at. But I mean, obviously, but where you're at here, if you're looking from the south and east, if you kind of look there, you're gonna, I mean, you don't want to be doing this, but you'd actually be able to see the tornado. And they're now saying that they see a large tornado on the ground there 1 mile east, northeast of the community of Nankin there in Brooks County. So that could be a delayed report from a couple minutes ago. It's possible. It says this from just during the last minute, though. So until we get the warning to go away, we got to make sure we earn a set of caution here, folks. But that's a little more concerning to hear a large tornado. Now, that doesn't necessarily correlate to the strength of it, but I know getting more reports in of different things, but outside of the area even. But they did just get rid of the Brooks warning, as it's now moved into Lowndes. So that's the good news for Brooks. But this is a confirmed tornado here, or at least a history of producing a tornado going into Lowndes, and now in Lowndes County with a tornado warning in play for another 19 minutes or so. So again, we have a tornado warning in play, trying to protect you, your friends, and your family on this Wednesday. It's been a very busy period. You can see here we still have some lowering right near Rolling Road there, trying to pronounce that for you guys here at home. Here as we're looking at the latest information, keeping everybody protected here on this Wednesday night. We're trying to make sure we know what is happening here with the National Weather Service sending us the information, sending all the media partners information here on this in the chat session. Emergency management in there as well. Spotters, some of that information coming on up like I just reported. At some point, this might have been, if not in the last couple minutes, within the last 10 minutes, give or take, maybe a large cone tornado on the ground here in South Georgia. So, I mean, honestly, you can make the argument here as we look at this, that could, I mean, it may just be hail, but let me check something here real quick, make sure I'm looking at this right. We've been on for a while. Actually, I think this is hail up there to the north. Yeah, okay, because that is a chance that could have been some debris, but that looks more like hail up toward the north there. Sometimes you can get the debris and the reflectivity, but I don't think that's the case there, because that looks more like the circulation down to the south here. The hail core would be to the north, and that matches up more with that in the reflectivity, because sometimes if you get a strong enough tornado and hits enough stuff, it can actually sow the debris here in the reflectivity as those different particles are picked on up. But in this case, we have a situation where this wasn't maybe strong enough to do that, or it didn't pick up enough stuff, but still enough to pick up in our debris detection software here, correlation coefficient. Let's see what that is. That looked like it could be something. Maybe this inflow again. Yeah, that looks like just inflow still. Because this, I'll show you guys this real quick. This looks like a remnant So again, the remnant debris signature here, and this is the inflow here feeding into that storm. Again, just continuing to watch here. Again, a tornado warning report to Lowndes County. Again, we're on all the different platforms. If you prefer watching me on YouTube, go to YouTube. You can search meteorologist Casey Cloud. If you prefer watching me on Twitter, go to twitter.com/CloudCasey, and we're there. If you want to watch on Twitch, go to Twitch there. You can search meteorologist Casey Cloud. If you want to watch it on Facebook, you have facebook.com/CaseyCloudWX, facebook.com/CloudWeather. We're on all the different platforms to keep you, your friends, and your family safe as I continue to check the latest information from the Weather Service. This is the only tornado warning in the country right now for Lowndes County, but it is for a confirmed tornado here that's been indicated, obviously seen it on our debris detects, and apparently there have been reports, as we've been telling you here, from spotters. So, again, dangerous situation. Continuing the coverage here. Still calling this a confirmed tornado 8 miles southwest of I-75 at exit 16 or 9 miles southeast of Quitman, moving east or so about 20 miles an hour. So you still have the hook echo here, a well-defined hook here just north of the state line, a well-defined hook here moving out now of Brooks and into Lowndes. It's into Lowndes County, as I've been alluding to over the last few minutes. Again, a tornado warning here, folks. They're protecting you, your friends, and your family. Again, you see maybe it trying to pick back up again a little bit. It's not necessarily the area off toward the east, because that's just the inflow. That's just the inflow into it right here, this area. But this would be your either debris signature / remnant debris signature, because that's co-located with the wind velocities coming together here. This is right near a rolling road still. It makes me think it may just be a remnant circulation let me say that again. Remnant debris signature. We're not used to talking about remnant debris signature. Just a circulation here, though. It hadn't really become remnant yet. Eventually it will, and maybe weakening on down. It looks like it is, but I wouldn't want to call it that yet. So, again, we're watching here, though, as we get down toward, and now it looks like, if I'm pronouncing this right here, Ozerley Road, and toward this area. We're talking about to the north and west of Clyattville. For perspective here, south of Kinderloo, to the south of Valdosta here as well in Lowndes County, and west of the interstate, which is good. At least it's sitting over the interstate, like where we had to work Cordell earlier with a tornado right there around I-75. Not what you want to hear about, obviously, earlier on, but you can see here right now, this is where our tornado warning is. Let's give you guys a whole view of the area, because this is the only warning we have in terms of any type of warning now for the whole area. So let me go ahead and see you guys at our whole viewpoint here. The purple box, the confirmed tornado, that's the only warning we have. We have other storms we'll have to watch to see if they start to rotate, but right now nothing imminent in terms of any type of warnings off toward the west of Valdosta. Of course, we'll let you know if something changes in that regard, but again, you see warnings toward central Georgia and South Carolina. Those are issues, obviously, but right now we've had this confirmed tornado over the last little bit. Let's get back in tight here. Go back over the last hour. You can see how tight it was when we had that well-defined debris signature there. As we were getting closer toward the Brooks and Lowndes line. Again, this is a pretty rural area, thankfully, but you can't take any chances, obviously. I mean, we've had tornadoes in rural areas before, and we end up having injuries and fatalities because it's the wrong thing there, unfortunately. So you got to be taking these situations seriously as we go back on over the correlation coefficient. Again, we look for debris, so it's not the easiest thing. If you're not used to radars, you wouldn't maybe understand this as well. But if you're used to radar, you'll probably understand this pretty easily. I mean, as things have to co-locate. That actually looks a little bit interesting right here. So this is right in there, your greens and your reds coming together, and then let's see right there. There still could be something down here. It looks like our system's running a little bit slower, and they're saying still a small TDS in there, and there definitely could be. I know we had 722 for the clock verification now, and that train spotter reporting a tornado on the ground 3 miles northeast of the community of Nankin there in Brooks County. So again, there's a look there at what we're tracking. You can see Dasher here. I know it's always important to look at different views of this to kind of remind us where we're at here. Sometimes maps will show different areas different ways, but again, we're tracking this carefully. You see the red box here. You see our tornado warnings. This could be moving closer toward Dasher here. If you're in Dasher, take your tornado precautions here in toward that area, toward Dasher. take your tornado precautions if you're in Dasher and Lowndes County right now. If a possible, check that tornado with a history of producing, or a storm with a history of producing a tornado here, moving in your general direction. So, got to take your tornado precautions in this area right now. Zoom back out a little bit. You see, we're getting closer to 75 as well in this area now. We don't have the live views like we do for Florida on the Georgia cameras, but if we did, that'd be great. We could pop those if there's like still shots. That'd be too hard to work with here in our live coverage, but we'll continue to monitor all the different feeds, of course. You see where our report was. We're on the edge of that stronger rotation, and it seems like the rotation still maybe wants to edge on up a little bit. So could end up having a tornado crossing 75, so you don't want to be driving right now here on Interstate 75 between about Lake Park and Valdosta. You don't want to be driving there right now because we could have a tornado that's about to cross the interstate here over the next several minutes. Maybe trying to recycle as possible. So do not be on the interstate right now. If you're between Lake Park and Valdosta, go ahead and get to a safer structure here. That's what you need to do in this type of situation. So again, looking back at it, there's your well-defined hook echo, the only game in town, and that means it's able to kind of use its own energy here. It's able to take advantage of the atmosphere. It's not being impeded by other storms. Not necessarily being impeded by other storms here. So that's the bad thing about it. As you see here, our parameter is still pretty good. I mean, it's kind of getting a little bit less a favorable environment in some regard for some tornadic production, but the energy values are still really good. And that's always a problem, as they're now telling us that the tornado holds together. It'll cross high 75 around 750. So if you're on 75 in here, folks, I mean, the warning goes for, let's see how much of a stretch is this. I'll measure it out. But a 9-mile stretch, you do not want to be on that 9-mile stretch here in 15 minutes between Valdosta, Lake Park. It's a little bit bigger probably, but you get the idea as we're seeing information here. I know I'm reading stuff around Atlanta. They're talking about maybe the activity moving faster than the models. So that's kind of interesting. But as we're looking down toward this area, it'll be near or south of that Valdosta Airport even. So and there's an airport with the observation site. Might get some information coming out of that here over the next little bit. If this tornado is still causing issues, it might get some more information as we continue to track the progress here of this scenario. So again, trying to figure everything out right now with the rotation. It seems like it's a little bit weaker, but it has a history of the tornadic production, so that's always a critical concern. And they're now telling us in the chat session, yeah, it seems like we're starting to get that structure to be lost a little bit. They're telling us that the good news is the TDS just nearly disappeared and rotations weakened. And they're also saying toward Atlanta, they're talking about activity as keeping more stable accent there, the story toward north and northwest Georgia, northeast Georgia, excuse me. But again, continuing to track this way. It's 7:36 now. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center. We've been going between all of our computer systems all day, yesterday as well, trying to keep you, your friends, and your family ahead of the storms. This isn't, if you're tracking toward Valdosta right now, you don't want to be on 75 or in that vicinity. It's other roads. There's other roads that can be impacted as well. So keep that in mind here as we continue to track this. It's not just 75. That's an issue here, my friends, and not just 75. So that's something to bear in mind as well. I'm going to step off real quick. Continue this coverage right now. I just want to check some things behind the scenes here, of course, as we continue with the very latest information. I'm just trying to give you guys the latest details to protect you, your friends, and your family here this evening. Again, we have this tornado warning here in play until about 7:45 or so for parts of the viewing area. So, again, you see that area of enhanced shear there west of 75. You still got to watch it here very carefully. Still got to track it very closely, obviously, with a tornado warning on the board. So, again, just trying to see what we're getting behind the scenes right now. We're at about, it looks like a 7:38. They are going to issue a new tornado warning downstream, but they're not going to include a confirmed tag with the issuance. So a new tornado warning's coming. We'll take that, and then we'll take a quick break in the coverage and kind of catch our breath here for a moment as we continue here this evening. Again, a confirmed tornado earlier, not confirmed right now, but a new tornado warning going to be issued here. You still see kind of that structure holding together. So new tornado warning going to be coming here over the next little bit. We have to just continue to monitor the progress of everything, obviously, downstream here in this environment. So Again, a new tornado warning is coming, not confirmed at the moment, but that could change obviously at a moment's notice here. You can see that we're just continuing to track the very latest details here in the Weather Center. You can kind of see that notch here on the storm getting closer toward the airport. So with the history of tornadic production, just have to be kind of weather aware here for sure. Let's go ahead and get on in here now. Again, you see Clyattville is worst to this here. Let me get back to rotation tracker going just to the north here of that. But we're going to just have to keep on watching, keep on seeing what is going on here with this scenario. We still have the tornado watch, obviously, in play. It actually goes a little bit further off than what it's showing there, but you get the idea. Tornado watch in play, tornado warning in play, and that's why we're on the air, to serve you, to protect you here this evening. So again, let me go ahead and pop on up our other perspective right now. That's going to be our DR level 3 computer. You can see the greens and reds coming together here on the air, just trying to see exactly what's happening behind the scenes with the coverage. You can see what we're looking at in our different monitors, on our different views here, obviously. And again, I'm just waiting. There it is, new tornado warning day 30 now. That's an interesting box that they drew, but the reason is because Jacksonville will have to make the decision. So could end up getting a new tornado warning for parts areas downstream right now. This for lands, but could end up seeing Lanier, Eccles, different boxes, different ways there to convey that message. As let's see what they're telling us. Jacksonville office is saying that they had a confirmed tornado. And that it's the storm is very dangerous. If it holds together, we enter Eccles County in around 45 minutes, and it's heading in the general direction of Mayday, the community of Mayday there in Eccles County. So we're going to keep you up to date. Be back here soon with more details. Stay tuned, stay safe, everybody, on this Wednesday. We'll be back in about 5 minutes.
This is a clouds weather alert.
Back here at 7:45, I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center, continuing that severe weather coverage. Again, we have a tornado warning here in play right now for parts of Lowndes County. We're going to continue to track the progress of it, obviously. Let's go ahead and show you our viewpoint right now here as it's crossing around I-75 right now. So let me go ahead and show you guys that. You can see what's happening there toward Interstate 75 again. There is a report there from Reed Timmer. They're talking about this in the chat that at the Valdosta Airport, a large lowering, but no funnel or tornado at this point, which is obviously good. We did have a tornado on the ground earlier, though, which is obviously a concern. So that's something to be bearing in mind here, obviously, as we continue with the coverage here on a very long couple of days, trying to keep you, your friends, and your family safe. Again, latest updates of a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado there near I-75, exit 16 or near Lake Park, moving east at about 30 miles an hour. So, again, I just have to kind of bear that in mind. Again, we're just continuing to track the movement of it because we do have some different areas of spin here. It looks like you can actually see it a little bit better here, maybe, in some of the latest scans right there near it. Looks like State Road 31. It could have something right about there, or maybe just to the west even. So we have to continue to see if something touches on down here. Again, a tornado warning to 8:30. So you're going to be in the interior room here away from windows in this area. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to look here at some of our different sources. I know 78 degrees outside toward the east. It's dark right now as we continue to watch things very carefully here. Continue to track things very carefully. In the Weather Center. I'm going to go ahead and show you the broad perspective. It's the only tornado warning in town right now here in the Marco. We still have other storms we'll be continuing to watch here, obviously, off toward the west. So you can see little spins. There's a little spin down here. That might not be anything, but yeah, that might just be an artifact. But we'll continue to watch, obviously. We'll continue to track things here in the Weather Center. You see that spin there a little bit ago there with 75 as it ramped back up. That's from a couple minutes ago with our derived product here. So we have to just continue to watch this, continue to monitor the situation, obviously, and we'll continue to provide the latest as it looks like. Again, we're seeing some different things here on our products right now. May just be the inflow, so on up, but we'll have to continue to track this here as it moves on off toward the east at about 30 miles an hour or so. So going to continue to watch this here. Valdosta Dasher, Valdosta Regional Airport is right in that vicinity right now. Let's see if we've got any observations in here. You can see nothing popping up at the moment in terms of anything, but we'll continue to watch it and see how about our temperature. That'll kind of show you right where it is. Look at right there at the airport. So we're going to have to continue to see what type of reports we get out of there over the next few minutes. But again, we still have this tornado warning here in play. Again, a tornado warning for parts of Lowndes County until 8:30 here. So you want to go ahead and take those tornado precautions, obviously, in this area. Got to continue to take those precautions here as we have this tornado warning in play. Okay, there's now a report that the tornado's on the ground just south of Valdosta Airport. Moving east, this tornado's down again, folks. We have a tornado on the ground there just to the south of Valdosta Airport. So you got to be in shelter here, interior room away from windows. We have a confirmed tornado now in this area. Please take shelter here. Should have already been taking shelter, but downstream is the time to take shelter. That time is right now, so make sure you do it. Make sure you take shelter here as we continue with this situation. Continue to monitor things very carefully. Let's go ahead and look. I mean, it looks like it's ramping up on some of these views. Right there, just south of the airport, a tornado on the ground here. You got to be in shelter, taking as many precautions as you can here in this situation, putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible. So, again, a tornado warning in play till 8:30. We have a tornado on the ground here in this area. A tornado on the ground now, according to a report into the Weather Service, just south of Valdosta Airport. Again, we need to get folks into shelter here because of this, as there is now, again, yet again with this storm, a tornado that is down. So I know seeing these instability values, these shear values being up here, to produce a tornado yet again here with this cell. Earlier we had a report based on radar and actual visual of the tornado down in Brooks County, and now we have a tornado just south of the Valdosta Airport moving east. So again, a tornado is on the ground here. We're getting more information in. Things quieter over toward areas that are around the Charleston market, Savannah market. But again, we have this tornado that's on the ground here, north of Dasher by a little ways actually. Kind of interesting to see here how it's kind of moved around over the last little bit. Let's put a loop on this actually. We'll kind of give you guys an idea of what is happening here with this axe, and as it does continue to progress here, you can kind of see here how the spin has been going on with this activity. You can kind of see here, you can kind of see how we're watching that circulation emerging here. So that's obviously a concern when you have a tornado on the ground. So again, tornado warning in play until 8:30. Again, we have this tornadic situation that is ongoing here. We're continuing to watch it carefully, continuing to monitor the latest. There's still some good blowing and energy, it seems, up toward those storms in central Georgia that's going to be moving closer in towards South Carolina later on. So this pattern just keeps on going here, folks. Just gotta be watching, and keeping everybody protected. Again, we have this tornadic situation here this evening that we've been monitoring for a while as we continue to watch the loop go around and around here off this radar, which is very, very close to where this tornado is. Again, a report of a tornado on the ground just moments ago there in that area. They're going radar indicated again in the update though, which makes me think that maybe that tornado touchdown was brief in nature. That would definitely be good news if that was the case here in toward that area. So the rotation center has now gotten past the airport. It's headed more northeasterly now. So kind of giving you guys that perspective here as we continue to track it, continue to watch the scenario as it evolves. So let's go ahead, zoom on out. You see it's a little more scattered in there with the rotation at this point, which is obviously a good thing. We'll have to continue to watch here though. This situation, we're at 7:53 right now, so with this tornado getting past the airport a little bit, and that's warning some people downstream. So US Highway 41, maybe closer toward, say, around 94 the next little bit with this tornado warning in play, and it's not going to be that far from the radar eventually. Hopefully, this storm here weakens on down as it gets closer, though. We'll continue to watch. Take a quick break in the cover. Be back here in about, let's see, make it 2.5 minutes, so stay tuned.
This is a clouds weather alert.
Back here right now at 7:56, I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud. A tornado warning still for parts of Lowndes County until 8:30. We're continuing to monitor the progress of it, continuing to track it here. Rotation seems to have weakened some, which obviously is great news. I know there's actually another tornado warning now in the state of Georgia, way outside of our area up toward central Georgia, Johnson, Lawrence, and Truleton counties included there until about 8:30. So that'll be something stations up north will be tracking, obviously. But in the Ward R area, we're dealing with a situation here where we have had a confirmed tornado based on radar, maybe different reports coming in as well, so in that too. So that's always a problematic situation that you deal with here when we're in live weather coverage. So again, it is 7:57 right now. We're continuing to track. It looks like they just had a small, very small tornado towards southeastern Twiggs County further up. But the trend right now is for this storm here to become less intense here with the circulation. It's becoming more broad. That's great news. Hopefully we can get rid of this warning pretty soon and wrap up the coverage again. But right now we still got to stay with it. I know, again, let's mention another storm right now with the view. There's apparently been a report of a very quick spin up in southeastern Twiggs County on I-16. So that's interesting to see. And then we have a tornado warning now for Johnson, Lawrence, and Truleton counties to 8:30. Of these other little storms here, hopefully they started to kind of zap you so there's energy. But I mean, theoretically, you could have some of these still become an issue later on with tornado watch still in play. But again, we'll go ahead now and switch back on over to the viewpoint here of the Doppler radar. We're now nearing the top of the hour, continuing this coverage here of this tornado warning situation. 7:58 here. We're continuing to watch. We're continuing to track it. You can see here that little spin still showing up on velocity as we get closer here toward State Road 94 in this area. I'm going to go ahead and keep on tracking it here in Lowndes County. Again, we'll have to see if the warning gets issued by the office in Jacksonville for Eccles or some of those zones downstream. We'll just have to see how it kind of progresses. You see Clint County in there as well. So again, I just have to kind of see how things they go with this. Hopefully they're not going to have to do that. But obviously if they do, we'll be here with you to let you know the latest information as we continue this coverage. So again, 7:58 right now. We're keeping on monitoring things. And let me get back on over toward our radar scope. I'm going to go ahead and pop that on up right now if we can. Now you'll be able to see that greens and reds pretty broad in nature right now. Still some weaker rotation with it. Hopefully the trend continues though of this weakening here in this vicinity. I know we're just wanting to give you guys a very frequent information here. I know at points we're kind of repeating ourselves, but we have to do that in these situations because we know people are tuning into the live stream, tuning out of the live stream, things like that. So we have to just make sure that we're watching the situation very, very carefully. So let's get back on over though toward the viewpoint right now. You can see here that little hook, still that little hook on here. I'm going to check some of our power outage numbers here in just a moment behind the scenes. It's always helpful to do in these type of situations. I'm going to go ahead and pull up some information on those because we want to know how many people may be in the dark right now. They're still continuing to warn for later cases. They're near about miles an hour. We're going to continue, obviously, to track things. Let me go ahead and say, guys, the alerts, the power outage information. As we talk about the alerts here, obviously, here's the power outage details. You can see here, Eccles, 9 customers, Lowndes 1, but these are from a little while ago. Obviously, some of the tornadic impact hadn't necessarily been felt in these numbers, and not all the numbers will be measured in this, but I just kind of give you guys that idea there with the power outage information. So always important to do that here when we continue our coverage like this. Hopefully we'll be able to wrap it up pretty soon because we still have more severe weather that could be on the way as we look later on into the timeline. We're going to continue to watch it, continue to track it for you, obviously. I know we've been on for a long time here today, folks, so just bear with me here. I started to lose my voice a little bit. Still a little bit of circulation trying to emerge here near Howell Road. We're having to deal with that here a little bit in this vicinity. I'll have to continue to watch it, see if anything tries to reemerge. It seems like maybe something trying to emerge there a little bit, but as we look at the grand scheme of things, we still have to watch because one direction still went to 64 miles an hour, so we still have to watch the situation here carefully because you never know what can transpire. They're now telling us here in the chat session, let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit. Tornado touchdown. It was confirmed by Storm Spider. Circulation's weakened, and it's approaching as it approached the radar, and the storm is moving more in the mean wind direction to the east northeast instead of this north of east. So it was okay. They're correcting themselves. A little confusing here. They're talking about heading the general direction there of the KVAX radar, more near the Echols-Clinch County border. I think that's what we were kind of saying, maybe more toward Clinch here than Echols at this point, and they're telling us that the rotation center exit and east of Valdosta will move tracking parallel and just south here of Highway 84 as we continue to track it. So again, that's what we're going to continue to do. We're continuing to give you guys the latest information, obviously, here in the coverage, giving you guys everything you need to protect you, your friends, and your family on this Wednesday. Been here all day. It's my commitment to keep everybody out there safe. We're trying to do that. I know these weather events here have an impact. Well, maybe another big event next week toward Texas and Oklahoma, it looks like here at this point. So we got to continue to watch, continue to track. By the way, we had a gust earlier, 29 miles an hour at Valdosta Regional Airport. So the tornado did not necessarily cross there, but it was very close to there according to a report. But the rotation seems to have weakened on off here at this point. But again, we actually have the radar. That's where that cone of silence is, right in there off toward the north and east. So we'll have to continue to watch things as the storminess does persist. Again, not necessarily on radar even as well organized, but on velocity, still have a little something here near Howell Road. So gotta continue to monitor it. But it doesn't seem as well organized right now. Now they're using the Tallahassee radar to kind of position themselves here on this a little bit, try to give themselves an idea of what's happening here on the different viewpoints. You can kind of see what's happening here off our radar scope computer. Right now, you're not really seeing the rotation as much. That's good news. That's a good sign. Just got a new warning now for parts of Clinton Echols until 9, but it's a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. So that's definitely some good news. We're Aaron a little bit, Farron and Aaron a little bit on the side of Cotton, but Farron a little bit better as well as we continue to watch. So we're talking about Clinton Echols until 9. So because this is a lower population area, unless we get a tornado warning here, we'll be wrapping up the coverage once this tornado warning does drop on off the board. This is for Howell, Withers, and DuPont. This severe thunderstorm warning going until 9 o'clock. So I'm telling you guys that now, that information, so you guys know where the box is. Still have a tornado possible tag, maybe some hail to 3/4 of an inch in diameter, and a 60-mile-an-hour wind. So we'll continue to watch it, obviously, for you here in the Weather Center. But again, right now, we're just tracking what we're doing here with that storm east of Valdosta by a little ways at this point. Again, I see a little bit of something up near Barney. See some special weather statement in play now in Thomasville. This just got us gust to about 40 miles an hour here as we're looking between Cairo and Thomasville. So we're going to continue to watch that. But this storm seems to be losing its structure. That's why they went with the thunderstorm warning in Jacksonville for parts of Clinton Echols versus a tornado warning. They cover that area. That's what we're talking about when we say Jacksonville, because they cover Echols and Clinch, while Lowndes is covered by the Tallahassee office. So Jacksonville office, by the way, out of the airport in Jacksonville, Tallahassee office there at the FSU campus, the Love Building, the top floor there. So again, continuing to watch here the situation. I hope we can wrap this up soon. I'm going to take another break and cover together more details. Be back here in about 5 minutes with the latest information as we still have this tornado warning in play for a little while longer for parts of Lowndes County.
This is a clouds weather alert.
Back here at 8:10, I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud. A tornado warning has just been dropped by the Weather Service. That's great news. There's Joseph a thunderstorm warning issued by the Jacksonville office for parts of Clinton and Eccles. We still have to watch, though, for more storm development here that becomes a little more dangerous. You see a storm that's starting to rotate here between Cecil and Hahira. Not seeing that in velocity, but just in the overall reflectivity. Seeing a little bit of wind enhancement here to the north and west of Thomasville. That's generally moving maybe more just north of Thomasville on the north side of town. We'll watch that, but no warning there. So the only warning now is that thunderstorm warning. The storm hadn't quite entered into that yet. They might end up going ahead and dropping that here because the storm has weakened on down. But we'll keep our eyes on the situation. Obviously, if we need to break back in, we will if there's a tornado warning or a more concerning type of severe thunderstorm warning situation. But for now, thanks so much for tuning in and trusting me. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud back here as needed. Even tomorrow morning, could have a threat here toward north central Florida as well. The situation is still kind of unpredictable. Model's having some issues, so we'll be watching. I know did just get a report in a little while ago that storm there toward Bryan County in Georgia has been confirmed as at least an EF3 tornado there from yesterday, the deadly one that caused the fatality there. So a little bit of information on that. But thanks so much for tuning in and trusting me. I'll be back here as needed. I'll leave you with the broad view of the radar situation right now across the region. And we'll continue to track things. I know there's a tornado warning in central Georgia right now, but that's not in our area. Still have some tornado watches in play as well, so conditions still favorable to some extent. And if we get more tornado warnings or more concerning, again, severe thunderstorm warnings, I'll be with you with the latest.